Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a new night point of view review. This is the new Renault Espace. Now it's a bigger brother of the Austral and it's now an SUV, so it's a 6th generation and not anymore a minivan. If we unlock the car, we can see the dynamic turn signals and the beautiful matrix LED headlights. So these are projectors but still very decent performance. You can see the bottle light is the Renault Diamond badge. If we check the side profile, we're sitting on 20-inch alloy, so this is the intense package. It's the highest trim. You can also get sport Esprit Alpine, excuse me. It's like a sport package. And then the Techno package, I think in Techno you can get 19-inch perhaps. If we turn the lights on the back, you can see the taillights, beautiful LED with dynamic turn signals. You can hold the remote to open the cargo space. Now it's nice and spacious. Now this is a 7-seat configuration. You can also get it in 5-seat configuration. So let me just show you the last row here. So you can have it like that, but I'm just gonna keep it down for more space. There's a cover on the top here you can close. Now there's a little like a cargo space here, and there's a styrofoam here. So you can see or hear sometimes it creates this squeaky noises. I would personally remove it. There's also a spare wheel in this car. Let's close it up. Now this is a dark blue metallic color. It's a chameleon color, switches from dark blue to like a purple or violet color. I'm gonna keep the key in my pocket. Also, this has a fork control, so the rear axles also turn 5 degrees to help you do a smaller U-turn, so it has a very good turn radius. So you can see this little gimmick you're greeted by, and you can switch it off in the Infotainment if you get annoyed by it. Now, as I was mentioning, fork control. Now this is the E-Tech hybrid, so that's the for the E-Space the only model you can get. Now it is powered by 1.2 petrol. It's a 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol. Let's turn on the car, and it has 130 horsepower. Now we also get the electric motor with 70 horsepower, so combined system you have 200 horsepower, and it's more than enough for this size of an SUV. Let me just turn these lights on and show you the spec or the price tag of this car. So just a quick glance at this. Renault E-Space E-Techno full hybrid, iconic trim, top trim in Croatia, E-Tech full hybrid 200 horsepower. Base price for the iconic is 47,790. I think like 5,000 euros less starts the entry model. We have an optional matrix LED headlights, 900 euros. Panel roof, tinted and UV filter, 1,000 euros. Active drive assist, 250 euros. And we have Harman Kardon speakers on the top. We're going to demonstrate it in a moment. 485 watts. We also have 12 speakers, if I'm not mistaken. This is 850, also with the Google Infotainment. And we have spare wheel, 180 euros, and the metallic blue nocturnal color, 900 euros. Comes up to altogether with value added tax and CO2 tax in Croatia, which is quite high based on the CO2, but luckily this is a hybrid, has a lower CO2, to 51,000 euros and 870. This would be 390,000 kunas. This was made in 2023 when it's still obligation to put kunas. Croatia has sadly left its domestic currency and adopted euro, but it is what it is. I'm gonna switch these off. Now you can hear the petrol has kicked in. It's a bit loud if you ask me, but once you're driving, you turn the music on, it's not a big deal. Let's play some music. Radio, actually there's this shortcut on the bottom, just forgot. So let me just see here. Okay, I can't play it for too long. Let me just see if I can get another one. Now, it's pretty good sound system. It's definitely better than the standard one you have here: studio, concert, lounge, immersion, or club. And then you can play where you want the sound, and you kind of have the balance feeder, tone, volume, speed, and so on. Now, this is really good infotainment. I have standard Google Maps, and here you have Apple CarPlay. It's nice and fast, nice to have options. You also have the Android Auto. Now, for the first time, you need to plug it in, and then you can enable it to work wirelessly. We have a charging pad here. Let me just show you that once again. I'm not gonna put my phone here, but I've tested the car for a week, and this doesn't charge it really fast. I think you need to use the USB-C if you want faster charging. Now, let's take off, and I'm gonna summon my impressions. I think I've turned it on, yes, so let's head out. Actually, before we head out, just to show you the reverse cameras, not the sharpest resolution, not bad resolution. There's always room for improvement, but you can see here it's very well illuminated. It gives you the projections, and you can see quite well the parking. Now, with the 4 control, we can do a very good turn radius, very short one, or the Initiale is very good. Now, let's well, we're gonna cover some pros and cons of this car, because there is no perfect car, but altogether I think it's a very nice family SUV, so there's not too many cons, but always, as I've mentioned, there is room for improvement. Now, 200 horsepower, I think it's more than enough for this car. It's very impressive when you think about the fuel consumption, which I'm gonna also mention because I did test it on highway. I went from Zagreb to Zadar and from Zadar to Novalja, so to island of Pag, so I did around 1,000 kilometers of trips. So, you know, I've tested it. Also went from Zagreb to Samobor, so I've tested it extensively. But we're gonna get to the fuel consumption a bit later in the video, so stay to the end. Now, this car is relying on both petrol and electric motor. When you're in the slower speeds, it drives electric. It combines also electric at higher speeds, but you know, you can drive nice, also smooth, and you have the benefit of both worlds. You have the range and you have the instant acceleration when you need it from the electric motor. Again, electric motor 70 horsepower and the petrol is 130 horsepower, combined 200. Now, with the electric motor, you can control the recuperation. By default, it is set to out of 4, like 2, so it's like half, but you can increase it with this paddles. There used to be called sport paddles in this car. They're not for shifting, they're for recuperation. Although when you press minus, it increases. When you press minus, it increases. Look at this. It increases the recuperation. With the plus, it decreases. So I guess plus is like go and minus is stop. That's the logic, not the other way. Like plus would be, in my logic, increase recuperation. But I guess they had a different logic. But okay, you get used to it, doesn't matter. Now, okay, I noticed one thing. I'm probably gonna forget it, so I'm gonna mention it now. It's a bit cold, and when you get outside, you know, you like to turn on the heated seats, and you have a heated steering wheel. We have a green light, let's go. So the seats are fine, but heated steering wheel, it heats up the corners. It's 3-spoke, but you have a flat top and bottom, so the corners 11 and 2 o'clock are warm, and 8 and 4 o'clock are warm. So it's not completely heated. So just an FYI there, before I forgot. Also, visibility in the car. 8 pillars could be slightly obstructed with this big mirrors when it comes to pedestrians, so caution on that. And on a traffic light, you might be this area might be blocking a view to the traffic light. But otherwise, you have nice tall sitting position. You can see the hood, so you feel nice and safe. Visibility around you is okay. Even in the rear mirror, it's a bit further back, but for parking, it's no problem. The cameras are perfect, and with 4 control, it's not a problem to maneuver in smaller parking that's tight. And you know, generally it's really good. Okay, back to the engine. Enough power. Now, sometimes the transitions between petrol and electric are not so smooth as I would want. Sometimes when you deaccelerate, it just does, like, it jumps a little bit. It's just not smooth enough. And when you really want to speed up on the highway, it comes up to, if you're speeding from like 60 and you get to 130, 150, there's like a lag on 120. It just drops in power and then continues. Because of that transition, it's not so smooth. When you accelerate from 100, then it's better. But for some reason, some odd reason, it's how it is. So, see, I can now let car coast, and then I press the pedals. I'm not using the brake. The car is deaccelerating. Now, it won't stop fully. It just keeps going, so you need to press the brake, and then auto hold engages. But it's good enough. You can almost drive one pedal. So the battery will always be charged, so you don't have to worry about it. I've never seen it deplete completely. So it's out of 4 usually comes to 1, and then it starts charging. So it will use the electric motor recuperation to charge it, or it will use the petrol, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the car is stable in the bends, but if you're really aggressive, I wouldn't recommend it. It's tall, it leans, and sometimes you will have to overcorrect, so too fast is a no-go for a big SUV, but it is stable. If you are moderate in those bends, it should be okay. Suspension. Now, it's very comfortable, but we're sitting on 20-inch alloys, so there's not that much tire. Now, you can get it aftermarket, smaller dimensions. Might not look pretty, but it will give you definitely more comfort if you have bad roads. And brakes are not too aggressive. Now, some cars, they're oversensitive, and this car, it's perfect. But I like the fact that you can use the recuperation, because it comes in handy. Once again, you can press max recuperation and then use it to save and prolong your actual disc brakes life by using the regeneration. When you're gonna stop, I actually don't have to keep my foot on the brake because of the auto hold. Lane assist. There is a button to turn it on and off. Now, in the city, I don't like to use it. Sometimes it forces me too early. Sometimes it pulls me towards. I've also experienced that, which was really weird. But I would advise use it on the highway. On the highway with, adaptive cruise control. It works perfect. Keeps you in the middle. Doesn't let you leave. When you use it without it, it kind of bounces you back in, but it just then pushes you to the other side, and I don't like the way it works. And I've noticed that when I pick up the car, it was turned off, so I guess other people don't like it as well, or other journalists or people who test cars. Now, the car is very comfortable. I've driven it quite a lot. Also driven some people that were also very pleased with the car, the comfort and the space inside. You also have massage seats, but you don't have massage for your bottoms, just for your back. See, those are big manholes here. So with 20-inch, you can still feel them, you know. I would prefer more tire, smaller dimension. But generally this car is very nice and comfortable for cruising. I really like it. The impressions are really good. Now, some of the cons would be regarding the interior, maybe not so much regarding the quality. Now, I've noticed this area here, kind of, you know, when you press on it by accident, kind of, you know, there's a little sound, not on the other side. Maybe a lot of drivers were like pushing it here, maybe in the garage or something, I don't know. But the rest of the car feels solid. I've heard a few sounds. You know, every car is not perfect. It always has some sort of crickets. That's what we call it, those Croatias. So here and there you can hear some sounds. You know, the roads are not really that perfect. But I've mentioned in the back that styrofoam, you should take it out because it extends to the side pocket on the right. And before, there was a fire extinguisher inside. It was making a lot of sounds. And you're gonna notice maybe on this highway, if the GoPro picks it up, it's quite annoying, to be honest. So I would personally just take it out, and then you would eliminate that problem. Otherwise, I don't know what to say. The panel roof has no shade, but it does have UV protection, so it shouldn't be a problem in the summer. I'm saying this because I have a Tesla which has only tinted panel roof, but it doesn't have a shade. Now we're gonna speed up here, so you can see it's speeding up quite nice. I mean, I'm not aggressive at the acceleration, but it speeds up nicely. We're gonna speed up here once we join the highway. Now focus on the Matrix LED headlights. They are on automatic long beam, of course, so we have some traffic, so we're gonna cut up with them, and you can see how it creates shadows, hopefully not to blind other on incoming traffic and traffic in front of us. So I'm pushing it all the way, still in comfort though. Yeah, 120 just drops and then continues on. Okay, 130, a bit noisy. We're on winter tires. There's like a smooth and a rough patch of asphalt. You can mostly hear tire noise and some wind noise. 120 is okay, 100, okay. But 150, it's really loud. So 140, 130 also kind of loudish. And I think there's a room for improvement in that area. In sound dampening on the highway, for 50,000 euros, this should be a little bit more quieter. It's a tall, boxy SUV, not really aerodynamic, so you're gonna have a lot of wind resistance. And then noise inside the cabin. Okay, notice the car passing next to us. Watch the lights. Okay, I don't think the long beam has engaged, to be honest. Okay, let me see here. Let's speed up. Now, cruise control, I'm just gonna set, let me see here, cruise control active, let's say 130. Okay, now the long beam is on. We can control the distance. We can switch the views here as well. You can have the maps if this is like here. Now this one shows you, like in Tesla FSD visualization, the cars in the other lanes, so that's pretty cool. You can control the distance. It's gonna show the vehicle in front, it's gonna keep distance. I'm gonna bring it back to not the minimal, but to the classic one. Now you can see better the distance, and I'm gonna turn on the lane assist. Notice it's gonna be green next to the car. So when I overtake, it's gonna speed up. Also, you can see the matrix now kind of working, and engages the lane assist, so it's pretty good. Let me switch, and it's gonna re-engage. That's nice. Like the Tesla Autopilot doesn't do that. You have to re-engage it manually. You can see car in front. Car is creating shadows, and then it's gonna turn on the long beam. Now I'm gonna switch it to sport here. I'm just gonna punch it a little bit downhill. Okay, that was enough. So you can hear that car speeds up nicely, but it's very loud at 150. So yeah, you can customize the lights. So in sport mode, we get a little bit different animations here, just like visually, the dots around it. But you know, it's okay. I like to keep it in comfort. Of course, you can go to the individual, and then, you know, put the way you like it. Also cool feature, you can have a minimal display, so if you just want to focus on the speedo, that's all right. You can press here, comes back on. Okay, fuel consumption. You're wondering, what's the fuel consumption? So it's pretty close to the Austral I had on test. Now, when I was driving on the highway from Zagreb to Zadar, I was driving a little bit faster than the speed limit because we have tolerance here in Croatia, and I got around 7.5 liters. On the way back, it was about 6, close to 6.5, but a little bit higher, but below 7. Now, between Zagreb and Zadar, there's like mountains, so there's a lot of uphill, downhill, so it's not a flat. So I have that in mind. But I also went from Zadar to Novalja. It's an island on Pag. A lot of open road, and over there I had 6 liters of fuel consumption, around 6, maybe slightly higher, not exactly 6. I think it was like 6.2. And when I was cruising through Zagreb at this late hour at 60-70, I've got it close to 4 liters. Lowest was 4.3. But once I got to 80, it started to increase towards 5 liters. Now, I had a colleague that was driving in the city. His fuel consumption was 8 liters. So, give or take, this car depends on the driver, but it could have decent fuel consumption. Now here you can switch to radio, you can switch to ecometer, chases, energy flow, you can see the odometer, and you can see the current fuel consumption and the average. Since the odometer is reset, it's 7.1. So 7 liters for an temperature for the coolant. So 7 liters for this size of an SUV is actually quite good, and it helps to have electric motor, because without it, the small engine like this wouldn't be enough, and it would definitely burn more fuel. And I like to keep it in classic, so you have like the percentage of acceleration and charge. You also have the speed limiter, but it's very easy to use. So let's speed up a little bit here, so you can see the car speeds up nicely. Yeah. Not to just be talk, let's just see the current, come on, current fuel consumption. So it actually dropped to 7.1. And I want to show you here, let me see history. So bear with me. Personal, actually, yeah, personal 4.4, you can see that. And journey, I think the journey, yeah, it kind of is the same at the moment, but our fuel consumption is dropping. Slowing down because we're gonna take a turn here. Okay, we're gonna test the headlights outside the city. There's a patch where there's no street lights, and I've seen the matrix lights on this car perform pretty nicely. It's not it's projectors, so it's not super sharp as with the lens, but it's decent for the purpose of not blinding other drivers. And actually I overtaken an Austral at night, and really its lights weren't so obstructive, so they're really nice, especially for the smaller cars. I've noticed of not blinding the other drivers. Some of you will, ask, oh, why did you do 0 to 100? But I will do it. It's 8.8 seconds, so it's not really fast. Okay, I'm gonna go to sport. Okay, brake, gas, and release. Yeah, it takes a little bit to speed up. Again, the brakes are good, not super aggressive, decent. Not eco, personal. So you can see also the lights, but I like to be in the comfort, so I like the most comfortable suspension setting. And also you can control the steering wheel stiffness, but even in the most stiffest setting, it's not stiff enough for me personally. So when you're really going harsh in the bends, doesn't feel right. It should be a little bit more stiffer. Okay, the beam is nice and wide, so here's the long beam, and I'm gonna take my iPhone and show you, because it has a bigger sensor and it gives you more realistic picture. So this is the iPhone camera, bigger sensor, takes in more light. This is the long beam. It's shooting very far. The lights are very wide, so also very nice. I'm gonna take some photos as well. So notice when I speed up, 30, 40, spreads. And then when you slow it down, it just falls down. Kind of dims also. It's pretty nice. Also, you have the cornering fog lights, which is a nice feature I would like every car to have. So matrix and cornering fog lights is something I don't have on my Tesla. And I think that should be standard on every car. Why is this not standard? I mean, it's a safety feature, right? Okay, so a little info. Now, when I topped the car, the range was 850, but then later turned out almost 900. So maybe it takes into account your driving style as well. And it triggers the reserve at 80 kilometers range. Also, like the avatar, it shows you when you have the brake lights and when you have the turn signal on. Now, I like when you engage the auto hold, like on the Captur, you have to press it in and then want to squeak, but in this one it doesn't. It just does it normally without squeaking and jumping forward and leaning forward. I don't know, I guess you pay more, so you get it better. Regarding the brakes, a few times I've heard them squeaking when you're braking. Today they're not, so I don't know why. Maybe when it's cold or after rain, there's surface rust, might be the reason. Also maybe the materials they've chosen. And what else? I think there was something else that I wanted to mention. I've told you about the fuel, the gauge. I think the capacity is 50 liters. So yeah. And yeah, okay, this thing, once you get used to it, it's not a big deal, I guess. muscle memory, that's how they call those things. But first time I would hit the wipers by accident instead of the gear selector, and then sometimes, you know, I wanted to go to reverse, but I would hit the wipers. Yeah, but once you get used to it, it's really not a big deal. Definitely. Yeah, I think I've summoned all the things about the car. So let's see here. Voice commands, perhaps? No? Oh, wrong one. Navigate to Avenue Mall Garage.
Getting to...
Not sure if it lost the signal here. Okay. I need my thumbnail here, so just a moment. We'll try that again. Okay, I think it's colliding with the Apple CarPlay. Let me just see if I can do it like this. Navigate to Avenue Mall Garage.
I can't find driving directions to your destination.
Okay, I tried it when I didn't have the iPhone connected. It works flawlessly, but now it's engaging the Siri instead of the Google.
Avenue Mall may be closed by the time you arrive.
There you can see, and if I switch to view here, you can also see it nice and big. So if you have it like probably like this. Also electric. So over here you can see pedestrian warning sounds. You can choose like different sounds, but you can see also the energy flow. So you can see the battery is now feeding and using the electric motor. Now if I speed up, it turns the petrol, doesn't show any other color there though. And when I'm deaccelerating, it's showing that you're not using the battery, it's actually feeding the battery. Also, I like on the top here, I noticed it shows you which turn you need to take as well. So that's nice. You also have it on the top. Don't worry, there's no one behind me, so I can drive super slow. Yeah, so that's quite convenient. And then it shows you also over here. And you know, I really like the Google Maps. Also has traffic cameras, but you can also use, you know, Waze if you want that. It's maybe a little bit more up to date with the speeding cameras. Okay, gonna come to the garage. I mostly use American English, but few UK words slip in because I also watch some of the, you know, other reviewers sometimes as well. Like, I'm not gonna mention channels, but I think you know which one are the popular ones. Where's the button? There it is. Okay. Focus on the pedestrian warning sound system. It's like quiet. It's like this, some weird sound. And you can actually go to electric settings and then pedestrian warning, and then you have this is the neutral, or you can have pure. This one's like this, some weird, and then this one's definitely telling you electric. The neutral, I like it. It is really neutral, so you don't really notice it. Personally, I think the other ones, you have them on all the other models, kind of really loud. So I prefer when I drive electric that it is quiet instead of, you know, but it kind of defeats the purpose of warning the pedestrians, I know, but just that's the way I like it. I like to be quiet like a ninja in the electric car. Okay, we've summoned a lot. Now one thing here, 360 camera. You have a really nice overview, and if you go to reverse here, yeah, now watch this. When you move the blue line here, shows you where you're heading, and these are just for the distance, and the red one. On my Tesla, I don't have that, unfortunately. It's some... I'm just saying, like, most of cars have this, and this works really well. If I go forward, it switches to the front camera. Now, the cameras might be rubbish when it comes to sharpness and this low light conditions, but still, they're good, and they're just good enough for parking. I wanted to show you maybe the for control capability, but let me just yeah, I can go forward into this parking spot. There we go. And just you can have here different views, front, sides, so you can see your wheel. Look at the wheel here, look at that. But I think you should be able to see the rear one. Yeah, see, it sticks out here and here. I know the cameras are not as sharp, but that's what happens. And 360, you have a nice overview of the car. The avatar is not the color of the vehicle. Now, if you go to configure for control, you can see here now in the comfort, it's maxed out. You can like lower it. You can see how the turns is angle is being moved here. If I go to the personal, then it allows you to go all the way to 13. Look at this. So let's just have that one, and I've actually put it to favorites cameras. So let's do a U-turn here just to show you. I'm gonna go fully on it. Okay, just need to watch here so you can see how flexible you are. Okay, I'm getting close here, but I can still make it. How crazy is this? You know how large this SUV is? Look, I almost made it to the same spot, but just a little bit forward. Actually, this is my starting position. Let me just do it once again. Wow, I just have to watch that column. But this is crazy. You can do really small U-turn with this thing. It's crazy. That's the for control. So it's not an all-wheel drive. This is a front-wheel drive, but it is pretty damn good when it comes to maneuvering such a big, large SUV. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it here. Guys and girls, ladies, thank you for watching. I think this is an excellent SUV. You're gonna enjoy it. So cutting this in, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but if I punch the acceleration a bit too fast, I've noticed that when it's cold, when it's wet, when there's snow, because there's too much momentum from the electric motor and it starts electric, the wheels spin. Even when it's dry, sometimes they just, you know, start squeaking the tires because they just start moving too fast. That's also perhaps a little con. I think they could have maybe made it a little bit more fine-tuned so it doesn't slip, because let's say that I've stopped and I want to accelerate. See, there's like just a little bit too much power. So you have to just, you know, create a habit of gently starting. Thank you for watching. I hope this was informative enough. And I've kind of stopped here because I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up. It's dark, but this color is a chameleon, so kind of switches from blue to purple. And it's always nice to see the car in a different light environment. Once again, once you lock the car, it goes into a little light show mode with the lights. They just do a little dance here on the front only. Of course, this is keyless entry, so when you approach the car, it unlocks and locks. When you leave, I think I've turned off the setting because I've parked it next to home, and then when I was passing by from one floor to another, it just always reacted, so I just turned that off. Once again, lights on. It looks quite beautiful, and people have mistaken it for Austral. You know, they would approach me, and how do you like the new Austral? I was like, it's an E-Space. They were like, what? And then like, yeah, this was just slightly larger. That's it. Hope you liked the review, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Do subscribe, click the bell to get notified when I upload more videos. There's also a lot of past reviews, same route, day driving, night driving, so you can compare multiple cars. And hope you're gonna enjoy the channel. For the rest of you guys, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.